Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Summer Palooza. This is our fourth project in our Notes and Totes Retreat class. We're going to make this adorable little tote bag, and we're going to fill it with some of our handy dandy little Jolly Ranchers. So that was in your retreat bag. So yeah, let's get started on some fun. And this one's going to be pretty quick. And I do apologize for having cut short before because I had to go and actually do some work, unfortunately. All right, so we have two pieces of designer series paper I grabbed from your half package of paper that you got. Just grab any two pieces. It does not matter which ones. Whatever tickles your fancy. I have a small scrap of designer series paper that I used in another card. And then I have a piece of Daffodil Delight cardstock. So we're going to be using bits and pieces out of here. I have a piece of Secret Sea that is left over from one of the previous cards. So I'll be using that as well. And I'm also going to be using Terran tape. Now, I don't recall if I put that on the tutorial or not. I hope I did. But because we're doing a 3D project that we're going to be putting things in and out of, I really do prefer the Terran tape. So let's get started on this. So I'm just going to take these aside right here. And I found it, I mean, you can use one sheet of designer series paper for this. So if you were to cut this in half, you should be able to do both pieces. Why don't we just go ahead and do that? And that way I can show you that, yes, you can fit both from there. All right, so we're going to take our 3x6 here, or our 6x6, and we're going to cut it to 3x6. So I'm just going to put my trimmer and trim down. All right, I'm going to run both pieces through my die cut machine at one time. Designer series paper is pretty thin, so you're able to do that. So I'm just going to face them. I guess it really doesn't matter because you're not going to see both sides at the same time. All right, so I'm just going to do this. I'm going to lay that right on there. All right, we're going to get out our die cut machine. Now, I said before that if you're using a larger piece of paper, you can't use your mini die cut machine. But because I trimmed those down, I'm going to be able to use that. So let me just get my plates here. And I'm going to run this through and you'll see how awesome it is and how quick you can create some treat bags. Just saying, you know, never know when you need those little extra things. So I'm going to put this here. And we're just going to run that through. I'm going to run it through a second time just to make sure it really got cut. It makes it easier just to have it done now. Okay, so I've got these scraps here I can use for something else later on, whatever. Maybe I'll even just use that piece from, I'm going to use this one actually because I like the dots. But you can use that for your scarf too. So I'm just going to move that out of my way. So now I've got two pieces of designer series paper. So what we're going to do is we're going to, let's get our other pieces die cut first, and then we'll go ahead and come back. So I didn't really need to have two sheets of designer series paper. I did just cut it 3x6 and you can use that. But if you're not so sure about your die cutting, then go ahead and just use a full piece, two full pieces. All right. We need two handles here, and I'm going to need, so there's two different kinds of handles. There's this one and this one. So we're going to change it up and we're going to use this one. This reminds me of earphones, doesn't it? All right, so we're going to be using this one. And I'm going to be cutting out some of my hearts here. I actually have a couple cut out already. Kind of did that ahead of time. So I've die cut those out of Secret Sea. And then I want my scarf. All right. And I need the bottom piece for my tote. So right here, we need two of those. So I'm just going to cut those. Yeah, you'll have two extra pieces of stuff for later on, but it's all right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring my large die cut machine in so I can just cut all of this at one time. If you cut down your cardstock, you can definitely use your mini die cut machine. So let's just get all these, but I'm going to do this quickly. All right, we'll put this in. All right, here we go. Oopsie. My die went flying here. Now, if you've taken the retreat, you'll be getting some extra little videos and some showcases that we're going to be doing. So you'll be checking those out the next day or two. So we will send you an email with those links. Otherwise, if you'll have to be subscribed to my channel to see those. All right. But all of you can kind of follow along with some of the stuff that you've gotten in your kit and your retreat package. All right, we're going to do that. And I need one more scarf. I'm not being really particular how I'm die cutting these because there's no stamping on it. I don't have to worry too much other than just getting it through my machine, which the one piece slid and will cause problems. So just make sure your dies do not overlap each other because that will wreck the dies. And that's what just happened. Mine slid. All right, here we go. And like I said, I have those other two cut from earlier. So there we go. Let's get those out of the way. Get these out of the way. I'm actually going to put them back in their home because if I don't, there are so many times that I lose dies because I don't put them away. So let's just get all this slid back in here. And of course, I can't lift anything. Oh, I need that piece. I thought it popped out already. All right, we'll put our little glasses right here. Where'd they go? Here they are. Right, we'll put our other little handles in here. I need that handle. Otherwise, we won't be able to carry our little tote bag. All right. I just need to get all my pieces in place here. And I can close up my dies, put them away, and not worry about them. Okay. Alrighty, so now we have all of our bits and pieces here. So let's just get rid of the ones we do not need and bring in everything we do need. All right, so now on our little tote bag, you can see some score lines, okay? So we're just going to fold. So there's one here, there's one here. We just want to fold this one under. And then again, we're going to just fold that a little bit and fold this one under. I'm going to take this and fold that under, this, and fold that in. So we're going to do that on the other one. And hopefully I did these correctly. I think I may not have. If you have directional paper, you do have to be careful. What you want is to make sure your two tabs are on two different sides. All right. So we're going to end up putting this together. So let's go ahead. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. Let's get our tear and tape. And I am just going to, it's really kind of hard to see where your edge is. So I'm just going to run this along. Now, if you don't have tear and tape, use your liquid glue. Just make sure that you hold it in place long enough for it to set. All right. So now on these, I'm going to go over here. Right to edge. And these little flaps are going to be underneath each other. So again, I like to make sure that they're going to stay in place. All right. Now what I'm going to need to do is take a piece of tear and tape right along here, just along one of the bottoms. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to peel this off, peel my backing off. Come on. There we go. And there's that little score line there. So I'm just making sure I'm going to those score lines. I'll tuck those in. I'm going to pull these up. Now you can glue these definitely to the side. I just didn't happen to. So we're going to put this one there and this one there. And we're going to fold these in together against one another, just like that. All right. So let's pull these off. I'm going to be reckless here and pull all 4 pieces off at one time. Well, maybe I'll just do 2 at a time. All right. So I've got that one folded in, got this one folded in, And I'm just going to match them up. All right. Okay. And I'm going to take my little tab down there and fold it back up here. One little tab didn't go the right direction here. Let me fold that in. All right, I'm just taking my take a pick tool and kind of putting it in place. So that way it's sealed on that bottom there. All right. Because otherwise you'll have a little hole there. All right. So now this one, I'm going to pull in place. We're going to grab these backings off. All right. There we go. And match the two together. And got a little flap down there. Just tuck it in. Just make sure it doesn't come out like it just did. There we go. All right. So now we've got our little tote together here. Now we can take our little handles, and I'm going to grab my liquid glue. So I'm just going to do my little handle from that curve, from that point to that point. And I'm going to just place it right on here so that meets the edge. All right. Hold it in place for a moment. Now there's so many fun patterns in this designer series paper. You could make a bunch of these. I think they'd be really great gifts for friends in the office or if you're having a little party. Okay, I'm gonna hold that in place. There we go. Okay, let's get my cover on that. I'm gonna take a mini dimensional. All right, where did I put my mini dimensionals? Sorry, I misplaced them when I, oh here, right in front of me, right there in front of me. So I'm going to run right on that. And then I'm going to place two more like I did earlier. One here. One here. We'll grab our other one. Do the same thing over here. All right. Now, I would love for you to share what you're doing with your projects. So if you want to hop over to my Facebook group, if you're on Facebook, join the My Stamp Studio VIP group. There's no commitment to it. You just join that for free. There's a lot of different crafters on there, so you get some extra information, and they love to see projects just like I do. So I'd love for you to share those. All right, so there we go. Getting cute, right? All right, let's take this, and I'm going to, because I already put this together, I should have probably put that on beforehand, but I did not. So what I'll do is just get my liquid glue here. You could use your tear and tape again. I'll show tear and tape in just a second here, as soon as I can get some glue out. All right, so I'll do this one with glue. All right, so when you put this on, you need to match your corners to your bottom right there. Now what's going to happen is you need to fold that over. Got a little piece that you need to kind of roll over to that side. Tuck that back in. All right. So it doesn't hold as well with the liquid glue. So if I take this piece now with my tear and tape, what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to go a little bit longer than I need to be. And I'm going to come back in with my snips here, and I'll cut off that excess. Put that onto a little scrap piece over here so it's not sticking to me or my scissors. Over here, cut that little piece off so I don't have that hanging out. Okay. All right, we're going to pull off that layer, and oh, I got a little corner stuck to me. All right, get that little backing out of there. Again, meet your corners, and then you can just roll this over. And like I said, with the tear and tape, it will grab hold of that a little bit better. So you just roll that over, okay? All right, it's got my corners tucked in. All right, now that we have that, we can actually take our little hearts. Now, I happen to use some adhesive back sheets for this, so mine are going to stick right on there. You can use your liquid glue, you can use your dimensionals, you can use your seal, whatever floats your boat. So put one right over here. All right, now I've got this cute little bag, and I'm going to fill it with candy. You can always put a gift certificate in here, so maybe you want to do it out of some Christmas paper and put your little candies right in there. All right, so that is our last, well, my last project for the Notes and Totes, and Sherry has her 4 out there, so make sure you go check them out. The links are in your tutorial, so you always have them, and I hope you enjoyed this Notes and Totes class. I really had a lot of fun making the cards and projects for you. And until next time, we'll see you later. Like I said, we'll be emailing all of you the links for the next videos that we'll be doing. Probably starting tomorrow, there'll be some new videos out there for you. All right, take care, and we'll see you all later. Yes, I want to stop streaming.